Welcome back to the Working Lunch. I'm Jack Crumley. I am joined by Kelly Lanser, who is the president and CEO of the Corporation for Findlay Market. That is the nonprofit which operates Findlay Market, which we talked about in the last segment. It is a long-running icon of this city. Functions as both a working market for thousands of people every day, and then also a tourist attraction. That is an interesting place to be in. Findlay Market right now is also in the middle of a capital campaign, which we're going to talk all about with Kelly. Kelly, what's it like being the president and CEO of such a long-running piece of Cincinnati history?
Every day is exciting.
Yeah.
Lots of wild things, things that I never thought I would be doing in a professional setting. But really, at the end of the day, it's an honor. I've been at the market for 13 years. I was telling you before the show, it kind of gets in your blood.
Yeah.
You meet people, you meet the merchants, and you hear their stories, and the entrepreneurs, and the shoppers, and the neighbors, and it's a magical place. And we don't have a big team, so to be part of something like that, a market that's been around for almost 175 years, truly an honor to be in the role that I'm in.
Yeah, that's really exciting, and especially, like you said, the idea of it being different every day, different people coming and going, all the human interaction that goes on there, and people from all walks of life. You guys are very conscious and public about the idea that you want Findlay Market to be a place for everyone.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. It is core to our mission. So the market's been around for generations, as you know, and the history that you did at the start of the show was fantastic.
Oh,
and I just, for us, it has been purposeful. It has been intentional that we stay a fresh food market. Many public markets over the years around the country, really around the world, many of them have moved to food halls, or they've turned into markets where only people of high income levels can shop. For us, if you walk through the market house, which I know that you have, what you'll see is about 2/3 fresh food, groceries, ingredients, the produce, the meats, the cheeses.
Yeah.
But as importantly, at all price levels. It's why we have multiple butchers. It's why we have multiple cheesemongers. We want anyone that lives in Cincinnati, in our region, to be able to shop at Findlay Market. And that's done through some of our programming, but also the curation of who has stalls inside of the market, who is going into the storefronts. So core to our mission, fresh food market for everyone.
Yeah, and you guys really, as the corporation, really have, it's your job to create a fertile ground for these businesses, these merchants that have booths set up in the market to be able to sell their wares. And then also you want to attract people to come in and buy it from them. You're really having to balance and juggle a number of things.
Yeah. So when the Corporation for Findlay Market was founded about 25 years ago, the neighborhood had gone through a lot of changes, and there were some conversations, quite frankly, with the city as far as, does the market stay open?
Well, and because Over the Rhine 25 years ago was a much different place than it is right now.
Much different, and the city still owns Findlay Market, but at the time it was owning and managing the market, and there just weren't enough resources.
Yeah.
And so there's conversations about what is the future of the market. But there was a group of people called the Friends of Findlay Market. Some of them are still around and active today in the same program on our board of directors that said, hey, there's this business model out there, and it is a nonprofit managing a public market. And so we were created in the early 2000s after a large renovation. Some federal dollars made their way to Cincinnati, did some upgrades to the market house, like the roll-up doors, for example. And the nonprofit was really tasked with bring life back to the market. So businesses, people, and we were really focused on that. So direct outreach, and we're recruiting, but we're also just inviting people to come to the market, remember what this place is. And we did that for a couple of years, and then the momentum started. So we had those really kind of pioneer merchants that said yes in the early 2000s. We had shoppers that had never stopped coming.
Right.
I mean, there are people that have been coming for generations. I actually met with someone yesterday who was talking about shopping when he was 3 during World War II. So we've had dedicated shoppers for a very long time. But what that did was it allowed us to refocus our efforts on 2 things. Entrepreneurship, helping small businesses start, grow, and scale their business through many of our programs, our Findlay Kitchen, Findlay Launch, Findlay Learn, but also refocusing our efforts on food access, what that means, what we want to provide to our shoppers, and how we do that. And so we've really focused on those two things in an effort to have more diverse businesses, product offerings, and allow opportunities for people to start food businesses no matter where they are in the process.
Yeah, you guys, I think I saw some article or a piece about how like the demand for those entrepreneurial programs has only grown, which it's so nice to know that there's still people that like want to start some sort of food or restaurant business. That's such a brutal business with razor thin margins. And the idea that people can, that there's an interest that people still want to do it. They're driving you guys to have these programs.
Right.
That's tremendous. Findlay Kitchen has been helping folks for a while. Just before Taste of Cincinnati happened, we had a woman from an outfit called Walker Bar. She, the ice cream place that she named after her grandma, and they started in Findlay Kitchen. And you guys have the accelerator. These are, I don't know if a lot of people know about those things, but they should. That's a wonderful service.
Absolutely. And I think that's why people do so well at the market. So the market's the 5th most visited place in Cincinnati. Wow. From a culture perspective. We did a big economic impact report that I'm happy to talk about, but to go back to the food innovation programs, 10 years ago we launched Findlay Kitchen, and it's a shared use incubator kitchen that is just across the street from the Market House. It's on Elm Street, and in the last decade we've had 300 businesses go through Findlay Kitchen.
Wow. So what's the programming on that? Is it you just, I have a dream that I want to bake bread or that I want to make cupcakes, and you say, well, here's the space to try it out?
So fascinating. So it could be that, but it could just be you kind of fall into it on accident. And we've seen a little bit of everything. And I think why it works is because we've got wraparound support services. The one thing that I'll say is pretty consistent is no one needs our help on the recipe side. They're not coming to us and saying, hey, I have my grandmother's recipe, can you help me kind of work with it? They're coming in though saying, I'm at this stage of my journey from a business perspective. And some people are coming in knowing they want to start a food business, like this is my dream, or I was in this space and this is kind of a hobby. I think I want to try it out. Tell me how to grow this. And then we have some people who just, they made cookies for their kids' class, and then the school wants it, and oh my gosh, Western and Southern called, and they need 5,000. Yeah. And so we're able to plug them in, and we have wraparound support services. We have a whole curriculum that teaches people the business side of running a food business, which is usually where people run into problems. Yeah. So they're great chefs, they're great bakers, they have affordable access. So Findlay Kitchen, the biggest barrier is access to capital, and so you become a member, but then you can rent out these individual kitchens at such a low cost. Like our biggest kitchen by the hour is $24 an hour.
That feels like a very affordable thing if somebody's looking to start.
So affordable, and it comes with the licensing, and you have the access to equipment that you otherwise would absolutely not have in your own home. You've got equipment that's just bigger. So you think about baking cookies. We have a 17-rack oven, so it's a lot different than cooking at home. And so the scalability and the support around it really allows people to grow their business. And then, oh my gosh, Findlay Market's right across the street. Yeah. So a lot of those people go from Findlay Kitchen and then they go to the outdoor market. So like you mentioned earlier, we'll have a weekend in the summer, you know, where between Saturday and Sunday, 30 to 40,000 people are coming to the market. And so you can pop up at the market in one of our mobile units and get in front of lots of people, gain an audience, gain a following, and then from there we have a storefront accelerator program where you can test out brick and mortar. Again, a lot of people just don't know what they don't know. And so we want to eliminate risks. We want to provide opportunities so you can go into one of these storefronts and you can test out if you like brick and mortar for up to 15 months. Or you can walk away and say, no thanks, pretty early on without financial devastation.
Yeah, you're not all of a sudden up to your eyeballs in debt because you took out a huge loan.
Exactly, you're not taking out a second mortgage because often it's people just starting businesses. If you go to a bank and try to get a loan for a brick and mortar, they'll say, do you have sales from brick and mortar? And they don't. And this allows them to also have that financial backing for if they decide to go on to something permanent afterwards, they can say, yes, I do, and have better opportunities financially. And so all of these things exist around the market because we have listened to entrepreneurs. What are the challenges? What do they need? Let's plug them in where they can be most successful. And so at the market, over the last 25 years, we have supported 550 businesses.
That's tremendous.
530 are still in business today.
Yeah. That's a fantastic ratio. It's really great. And then at the same time, too, customers, you have an option like every day of going down there and trying out something different and new. All that being said, between all these different programs and all the different vendors and the customers who've been coming for generations worth of people, Findlay Market right now is in the middle of a capital campaign. And it's your very first capital campaign, which, you know, we talk about nonprofits on this show a lot. And recently talked about that piece that was in the Inquirer about nonprofits that are investing in physical spaces and real estate, and you know the way that money gets put into things, and the idea that Findlay Market, that's been around since the 1800s, is just now doing its very first ever capital campaign. I think that that's really noteworthy. It shows the longevity that this organization has had.
Yeah, and one of the things I say too, so this is the first time we're doing a capital campaign, but for generations, people have decided to invest in the market in different ways, and this is our chance to do it. So I've been at the market for 13 years. We've been talking about the challenges of small businesses, what they need to grow, what they need to scale, what they need to be more successful. At the same time, there are things in the neighborhood. So our space where we have our maintenance and our facilities, that is going away. Our operations space, our shopping app is at capacity. Findlay Kitchen is a decade old. We need more equipment to be able to support these entrepreneurs. So we had started putting together this list where I think it was informal at first, and then a couple of years ago we said it's time. So let's go all in. So we originally talked about, is it 10 million? Is it 15 million? And then we decided 21 million. It's big and it's huge and it's scary, but we want to be prepared for today, tomorrow, but tomorrow.
Right.
We want to be around for another 175 years.
Yeah,
and we have plans to do that.
The campaign talks about, what did I jot down? Refresh, expand, and preserve, sort of three different legs of this thing. And the idea that you're doing it, it's not just because, well, we want to get bigger and we want to try to sell a fancier version of the market to folks. You're doing it because it's based on demand. Yeah,
absolutely. The first bucket that you mentioned is really focused on infrastructure. Some things are brand new, some things are enhancements, some things are fixing. So we'll have a new operations center that will be home to storage. And one thing I'll say about this part of it is some things are going to be really fun and flashy and exciting. A new Ray Street Esplanade for the community and for businesses, and seating. Our farm shed that is beautiful and welcomes the region's largest farmers market. We want to enclose it because now we have 4 season growers. But if you come when it's anything other than a beautiful day like today, it's miserable as a grower. But there are things like storage and electricity and heat and HVAC and display refrigeration. We need doors that are ADA accessible. So there are some of those things too that are they're operational and they're necessary, and that's what we need.
Not exactly talking about luxury items here. I mean, these are like ADA accessible doors and electricity. So this is a picture that I grabbed yesterday because this is also part of the, promoting Findlay Forward, which is the name of the capital campaign. And this is, I think, like office space you guys are currently occupying or moving into.
Yeah,
that's the
great question. So what you're looking at here, actually, so the spaces we were in got demolished last year.
That's right.
We're excited. It's the Findlay Rec project. It's such a staple of the community. We're excited for that to open up. What this space will do is allow us to have some space for offices, but more importantly, operational space for our merchants. So when we went to Findlay Kitchen, Outdoor Market, and our full-time merchants, when we started talking about this campaign, we said, what do you need? What are the most important things you need? Storage was top of the list. And you think about that and you're like, it's not super exciting for, I think, maybe the general public, but you think about what that does for small businesses. It allows them to buy in bulk. Margins are so thin. It allows for them to scale tremendously. So what that space will turn into on that first floor is walk-in coolers, walk-in freezers, dry storage. You think about the amount of times people are going in and out. So Roth Produce, you probably saw open up yesterday. every single day. They go to the walk-in cooler that is about a block and a half away.
That's crazy.
They load up their truck, and then they take it to their stand. They make a beautiful display for shoppers, and then at the end of the day, they do the same thing, take it back. This puts that storage right there. It gives them way more space as well, times probably 3 or 4 from what we have now, just for them. And so it allows for these businesses to just have a better environment for their small businesses. So that'll happen in the operations center space. We'll have meeting room spaces that our merchants, Findlay Kitchen members can use. So also a community space. So it's going to be so much more than just offices for our team.
And that's just that one element of it.
Yeah.
Again, preserve and expand and refresh. We were going to get into the other couple elements about the Findlay Forward Capital Campaign. Talk more about Findlay Market with President and CEO Kelly Lanser. Welcome back to the Working Lunch. I'm Jack Crumley, joined by the President and CEO of the Corporation for Findlay Market, Kelly Lanser. So happy to have you here and talk about this iconic Cincinnati market, this nonprofit that's been going on. You guys are in the middle of a $21 million capital campaign that involves preserving and expanding and refreshing. We talked about the green building that's there that's going to offer a lot more storage and cooling for people. What are some of the other elements that you're looking to accomplish with this very ambitious campaign?
Yeah, great question. So in the first bucket, that is the physical infrastructure, we have about 30 line items on there. So it's things that you can see, like the farm shed enclosure that I mentioned before. It's cameras and lighting. It is new awnings, things inside of the market house, indoor seating area, new education center, market center.
Wow.
A lot of spaces, a lot of physical things at the market. And then the second bucket is programmatic growth. So really focus on our entrepreneurship programs and our food access programs. We talked a little bit about the entrepreneurship side, so the Findlay Kitchen, Findlay Launch, Findlay Learn. One thing I'll add about Findlay Learn is that program just keeps growing. And what we've learned with these programs is there is a need, there's a demand locally. I think when people now think about starting a food business, they know Findlay Market is where you start. And so you think about Findlay Learn. So we actually just launched our most recent cohort last night. And so we bring in subject matter experts from around the city. We use our staff, who is just incredible. They're talented. They are so smart. And we help teach people the business side of running a food business. So again, a lot of people know how to make the food, but it's the hiring and it's the firing and it's the operations and what happens if someone gets sick with my food, and it's marketing and it's branding and it's how to read a lease and it's how to create a business plan.
That's so helpful.
It's all of those things that perhaps people haven't had the opportunity to learn about or just didn't know. You don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And so when people are coming to the market, like you referenced before, some people are coming with a dream, right? Like, this is what I want to be, and we can help them oftentimes through support of these education programs that we offer to small businesses. And we started with growing into a storefront. And that was so successful. But then we learned that we needed kind of a 101 level. So we have Food Business Foundations 101, and then we have a class under that. So really, truly, if you are someone looking to start a food business, come to Findlay Market, and we have a space for you.
What an incredible resource.
Yeah, it's awesome. And what's great is we have such great relationships with all of the places that have storefronts. So we love when our businesses stay near the market, but they don't have to.
Baby birds can still fly out of the nest.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sure.
And oftentimes it makes more sense to open a business where you're from, where your friends and family live. But we have great relationships with all of the developers in the city of Cincinnati. So when they have spaces available, they're calling us, and we are in regular communication talking about, okay, these are businesses that we feel like are ready. And those places know that if they're taking businesses from our program, they have all of that background. They're not just coming in blindly, not understanding, again, the business side of the food business. And so it's just been a great resource for so many people. And we've seen so many people start kind of at that 101 level and grow and grow and grow, go from education to launch to outdoor market to roll-up doors to inside of the market house. Again, it's not a requirement, but those stories are really fun to see. Makers Bakers is one of them. Ye Mama just opened up inside of the market house last year.
We made sure to grab a picture of the Ye Mama ribbon cutting. I'm such a sucker for a dumpling place. That's really incredible. And you've got, in terms of you, the idea of a place that maybe someone goes to one of the educational facilities and learns how to have a business, and then they start having a booth there, and it graduates into a storefront. You've been with Findlay Market, the corporation, for 13 years.
Yep.
You started out on the events side.
I did.
What about that evolution for you that you learned coming up through the events section, and eventually now that you're president and CEO of the corporation? What were some of the things that you learned in those other elements of the business that play into how you are handling things on the top level?
What a good question. I just got to know everyone.
Yeah.
Because when you're on the ground, it's with events, you're there early, you're there late, you're problem solving, it's operational things, it's just really helping people both from the business perspective, but also shoppers. Like, I'm hearing problems and concerns and challenges and what's going well and what's not going well. And then from the communication perspective, one of my very favorite parts about being at the market is the endless stories. So whether, again, you're a shopper or you're a longtime business or you're someone that is trying something, they're taking a risk. I've been part of telling those stories. And so hearing those, I have fallen in love with the market like so many people have. Yeah. And I think I just have understood kind of the challenges and needs and dreams of people. And it has allowed me to grow organizationally and really make decisions based on those things. So I'm not making decisions in a vacuum based on what Kelly Lanser thinks. Right. It is, I've been talking to people, I've been building relationships. We have 65 full-time businesses. All of those businesses have business owners, so I'm working alongside 65 other CEOs. They all have staff members, they all have perspectives, and many of them have been around the market much longer than I have. So you think about businesses like Eckerland Meats, they've been around since the market opened in the 1850s.
They've been around since meat, I think, was invented.
Yeah, before refrigeration, certainly, to your point earlier. But you think about like the Gibbs, 1922, and the Lucan brothers, who have all had businesses here. Like, I have gotten to learn from them over the years, and you can't learn about the market in 1 or 2 or probably even 13 years. There are so many things I don't even know now. Right. But to be able to learn from all of these people, and historically even like the shoppers. So people have told me, well, we used to do this thing, or did you know ours used to be this, or it would be great if you brought back that. And having a chance to hear those things have allowed me to, again, make those decisions based on what has worked so far. Again, the market being around for 175 years is not an accident. Right. So I would be remiss if I didn't take in account all the experiences and everything that other people have learned over the years to help make decisions. Which
is probably sometimes like drinking from a fire hose. I would imagine that a lot of people that have been going to the market and feel a sense of belonging and a sense of ownership there want to let you know what they think works and what they think don't, because they care too.
Absolutely.
What is it like for you in terms of the way that the market is run? Because in addition to the fact that this is a tourist attraction, this is where people... I brought my parents there when I first moved here 20 years ago. People come here as a stop to the day game that's going on for the Reds right now. Yep. There's people in from New York who are Mets fans that are checking out Findlay Market. Yeah. But also, this is a market where people are going to every day to get regular groceries they need. What is that like for you from an operational perspective and from a marketing perspective?
Yeah. Such a good question. It's interesting. So I would say that any public market that really does care about fresh food struggles with this. I sat on a panel last year at the International Public Market Conference, and it's Findlay Market, and it's Borough Market from London, and markets in Syria. About 10 markets were represented there. And we talked about some really interesting things. But at the end, we started talking about trash and tourism versus grocery shoppers. Oh, wow. It doesn't matter how long you've been around.
Many such cases.
Yeah, no matter where you are in the world, those are the things that you talk about. For us, it starts with curation. So 2/3 fresh food at Findlay Market makes us a fresh food grocery store. If not for the market, the area that we're in North OTR would be a food desert.
Yep.
And so that is a big piece of putting a stake in the ground and saying we are here for that. We want people leaving with their grocery bags. But it also comes with the decisions around special events and programming. There's a reason why on a Saturday we don't have live music at noon. We love when people come, grab a drink, do whatever they want to do, but at noon we want them to be grocery shopping. So hang for a little bit if you want, but what we're looking for is come at 4 or 5, and that's when we have the band. That's when we want people to stick around for a couple of hours, because what we hear from our merchants is if we're programming or having events early on a Saturday, for example, those people are getting in the way of grocery shoppers.
Right.
So timing matters, the type of programming we have. So we've shifted. Even when I started with events, some of the events were still just bring people here. We think when people get here, they will come back because we're inviting a lot of people for the first time or first time in a long time. Now what you'll see with our events is they're tasting events for the most part. So we're inviting people to come. Like this weekend, we have a Juneteenth event, and it's tickets, and they're low cost, but it gets people moving around, and those tickets go directly to these small businesses. It's revenue generating, but as importantly, it's introducing people to different businesses. And so we've just shifted how we do events and programming. From a marketing perspective, if you look through our social media feed, if you look at our newsletter, fresh food is what we're talking about majority of the time. We don't do any paid advertisements for coming to hang out and grabbing that beer. We want you to come on a Friday night and enjoy music at the market. We most certainly do. But where we're putting our efforts is come during the week and get your meats and your cheeses. Come on a Saturday morning and visit Kim from Lobenstein Farm in the farmers market. So we're intentional about the words that we're using, the messaging that we're using to say fresh food is number one.
That's a lot of thought to operating a place, and clearly that kind of thought is why Findlay Market has been around as long as it has. Kelly Lanser with Findlay Market, again, in the middle of their Findlay Forward capital campaign, a $21 million capital campaign that is nearly done but still needs some work. If you live in Cincinnati, if you haven't been to Findlay Market in a long time, hearing about this, hearing about maybe the best pork chops you can find anywhere, all sorts of oils and seafood and fresh produce and flowers and coffee. Swing down to Findlay Market. Maybe do it this afternoon. Maybe do it this weekend. See everything that Findlay Market has going on. It really is a jewel in this city that is looking to grow and expand, and you can be a part of that. And you get to brag to your friends, yeah, I went down to Findlay Market, no big deal. Kelly, I'm a big fan. Really appreciate all your work. FindlayForward.org is the website for the capital campaign.